A national park ought to be fundamentally representative of its specific region. It must serve as a vital showcase for the diverse flora and fauna of the entirety of the nation. It must possess its own dedicated space and unique location, regardless of any commercial or economic interest that might otherwise exist in the area. Now, after decades of complex political and economic debates involving both state and private institutions with a wide range of diverse interests, we have finally reached a point where, for the very first time, Orhei National Park is an officially and fully recognized state and public institution.
In the heart of Moldova, where the greenery of the forest meets the horizon, there is a place where time slows its course. Our film crew stood here, immersed in the silence and peace, hidden away from everyday life. This place is captivating not because it is widely spoken about, but because it exists beyond time, preserving a connection with those who once lived here. As we walked through these vast landscapes, we felt how every tree and stone invited us into a world full of mysteries and stories. Here, nature speaks for itself, its harmony felt in every movement and sound. This place is not just beautiful, it leaves a deep imprint on the heart. No grand words are needed here. It speaks softly, yet powerfully. We created this film so that you, too, could discover this remarkable place, like Orhei, and experience the unique atmosphere that reigns here. Orhei National Park is a remarkable place where nature seems to unveil its many facets before you. Here, forests, rivers and fields come together, each bringing its own unique character and shades of life. The park spans across 4 districts: Orhei, Stresheni, Kalarash and Criuleni, and encompasses the lands of 18 villages. Everything here follows its own natural rhythm, and you realize that to truly understand this place, you simply need to pause and observe.
Orhei National Park boasts some landscapes, forests that are unique at the national level. It covers 338 square kilometers, which represents 1% of the country's territory. It might seem like a small area, but thanks to the variety of natural conditions, we have here quite a large diversity of natural landscapes, starting with forest landscapes, which make up more than half, and ending with pastoral ones, rocky areas, especially in the eastern part of the park. And this variety, for example, we have altitudes ranging from 28 meters along the Rote River up to 324 meters in the eastern part of the park. These have resulted in a varied amount of precipitation, which has led to the formation of different types of landscapes, of ecosystems.
This park is a whole palette of natural landscapes, from dense forests to rocky terrain. Everything here is harmonious and untouched. As you gaze upon this beauty, you feel that it should be left undisturbed.
We are now at the far eastern boundary of the entire park. In fact, this is truly the richest and most diverse area in terms of natural conditions. We have this gorge area formed in Sarmatian limestone, which is between 8 and 13 million years old. And in fact, we are in a unique area of overlap between three biogeographical zones, or natural zones.
The heart of the park is its vast forests stretching across the slopes of the hills. They resemble a giant, living tapestry woven from every shade of a green, from the bright freckles of a spring to the deep, dark shadows of coniferous trees. At its core, a serene and majestic color prevails. But not everything is as peaceful as it seems. Behind this natural beauty lies a great deal of work. Here, scientists monitor the preservation of unique natural resources daily and prevent the destruction of ecosystems. This is more than just a park. It is a place where people dedicate themselves to ensuring that nature continues to thrive.
The primary challenge, first of all, concerns the forest vegetation, the constant monitoring of these illegal logging activities, and maintaining strict control over them. So this is the biggest problem because 56% of the park's area is covered with forests, and accordingly this is the primary wealth of the park, and it must be carefully monitored.
Human greed sometimes drowns out the voice of reason. It is crucial to remember that natural resources are not an endless supply. They must be cared for as carefully as we care for ourselves.
This spring, when I was here visiting for the invertebrate study, I also found blooming orchids, which are just a few meters from where we are now. And I wish for everyone who visits the forest, when they see these wonderful ones, flowers included in the Red Book, to know that they are protected and not to take them out of the ground and bring them home. There's no point they don't survive outside their natural habitat.
Orhei National Park, like a treasure trove of nature, is home of 26 rare plant species listed in the Red Book of the Republic of Moldova. Their delicate silhouettes serve as a reminder of nature's wonders that require our careful protection.
If we were to speak in general terms, we say that there are around 820 species from the flora of the Republic of Moldova found in the Orhei Park. Is that really all there is to it? The landscape reserve, which is only 500 hectares, I mentioned that the park has 33,792. In these 500 hectares, we have 504 species.
Experts believe that preserving this place means respecting nature's laws, supporting it rather than interfering with its course.
Of course, this entire procedure takes into account many aspects. There are several stages. First of all, the land is carefully studied and observations are made regarding the way regeneration occurs, but primarily the age of the forest and the old trees. Of course, like any living being, so is the forest. It has a specific and predetermined age threshold up to which it can effectively carry out the functions assigned to it. After reaching that age, under normal circumstances, the forest is renewed, meaning the old forest is cleared away, while simultaneously ensuring the successful establishment of the young forest. Priority is given to natural regeneration. The seeds from the old trees have fallen and are taking root. A new seedling stand is forming, giving rise to a new forest.
In harmony of the forests and rivers, the park is home to more than 109 bird species, 20 species of terrestrial vertebrates, 97 intervertebrates, and over 90 species of insects. Among the dense thickets and shaded trails dwell rare creatures: the elusive wildcat, the graceful marten, the majestic lesser-spotted eagle, the black kite, and the cautious viper. When we never met their gaze, we felt their presence in the rustling leaves, in the breath of the wind, in the very rhythm of life in this protected sanctuary.
Orhei National Park is proud to be home to various species such as majestic eagles, as well as the owl. Among the local mammal species, one can find animals such as the wildcat, as well as roe deer and majestic stags, wild boars roaming, and various other animals.
We have about 220 species of birds. The Kodri and Orhei forests are valuable because they serve as a wintering ground for North European fauna. We have migratory species, most of which 60 to 70% migrate to southern regions and return here, starting from March to April and ending in October to November. But one way or another, out of these 220 species, we have about 140 that are in this protected area. Therefore, from the moment we established this beautiful park, we can clearly state that 140 different bird species from our local fauna, out of the 220 known to exist, live right here within these grounds.
What's especially striking is that National Park is a crucial stop along the route of migrating birds. Here, they find rest and regain their strength before continuing their journeys. This place truly holds an important role of a global map of bird migration. Then, as we climbed these hills, we realized just how unique this landscape is. Here, the forest steppe of a Dniester plateau gently transitions into the steppe of a southern lower Dniester plain, creating a living mosaic where every element of a testament to time, resilience, and beauty. And the Road River, once an important transport artery, now stands as a living reminder of nature's ever-present connection to humanity.
It is a very specific and unique area, plus the entire course of the Roit River, because if you see, it is precisely this Roit which is the third most important river in terms of overall value for this entire area. I'm talking about the Dniester River and the Prut River. The third is the Roit, which was once a fully navigable waterway in the past. And when you see these beautiful cliffs, it's clear that they were formed over time. It's no coincidence that here, in this area, we also find some interesting sites, some Ghetto-Dacian fortresses. In other words, these are things that have made history in this region.
The river has undoubtedly been a vital part of life in these lands, and even today it remains so. We felt this strength and fragility at the same time. Though its waters have grown quieter and its current has slowed, it still carries the memory of the past and lessons for the future. Of course, it's impossible to ignore the changes in climate and nature over the past decades. These shifts affect not only us, but the entire ecosystem of the park.
Unfortunately, we are increasingly experiencing significantly higher temperatures and prolonged periods without any precipitation, which negatively impacts the condition, first and foremost, of the forest vegetation. There are also many significant ecological problems that have been identified within the park. We have various sources of pollution that are, in most cases, of anthropogenic origin, including the presence of completely unregulated tourism. And all of these factors lead to the pollution, first and foremost, of the local water bodies.
We see nature fighting for its existence. The park remains a place where the ecosystem continues to adapt, and our task is to help these changes unfold in harmony with nature. Even the air here feels different, fresh, filled with life, and the scents of wildflowers, earth, and water. Even the sounds of echo of this place are unique, infused with an intangible magic, as the nature itself is whispering its ancient secrets to those who are willing to listen.
Our responsibility is to monitor the evolution of these landscapes and to actively intervene with scientific arguments in order to maintain these unique landscapes.
The voice of nature rings especially clear here, And perhaps, if we listen closely, we will hear its call. It is this awareness that will help preserve this corner of the earth for future generations.
Un picior de plai pe o gură de rai, iată vin în cale, se cobor la vale, trei turme de mei cu triciobănei, unui moldovean, unui ungurean. Izvoraș cu apă rece, de la poarta mea cum trece, măi. Izvoraș cu apă rece, de la poarta mea cum trece, măi.
That's it, that's right, Bravo. You don't need any detergent at all, just running water. They would wash themselves until the water ran clear, crystal clear. Then they would gather them and hang them on the fence to dry.
Moldovan carpets are a national symbol for us. They are our pride. And we're very proud that it was our women, the women from our village, who were the craftswomen. You can see that they mostly wove roses. They loved them very much. Later, other motifs appeared, like deer, for example. Over there, they wove stags and dolls. But these floral motifs were the most common, especially the roses.
This loom was passed down to me from my mother. My mother is also a folk artisan in carpet weaving. When I was about 17 or 18 years old, I already started to take this seriously. The works of us, the women weavers from our village, can be found everywhere. Look, my mother and another woman even had their works exhibited at the International Exhibition in Shanghai.
Today I am truly very happy and honored to welcome all of you here as my special guests. In the big house of this charming little farm of mine, specifically in the museum, which I have so lovingly arranged with all the beautiful and precious things gathered from my dear mother, and from the many elderly people living in the village. And I want to take great care to carefully preserve these traditions and pass them on to our younger generation who are here with us now. Because there are many things they see for the very first time and don't know what they mean.
We are in Orhei National Park, at Doi Haiduci, and at the Fest Equestrian Club. Welcome. At our stable, we are involved in several activities. First of all, we promote horseback riding. Anyone can come to us, anyone who likes horses, even if they've never ridden before and are an adult, they can try it out and see what it's like. We are in a unique place, in the Codri of Moldova. And it's always very beautiful here.
The village of Nicolaeuca is part of the national park and is visited by many tourists because on the territory of our village is the Hirova Monastery. On this territory, at Hirova Monastery, there are two churches. One church is dedicated to Saint Nicholas, and the second church is dedicated to Saint Simeon Stylites, the God-bearing.
the territory of Hirova Monastery, Nicoliuca village, Runor Chiri. All the nuns lived in such a house. They built it themselves. This is where they lived. It depended on how many rooms there were. Some had 2 rooms, others had 4 rooms. There was the Mother Superior and the listener novice. This house is about 100 years old. Currently, there are 20 monks and nuns living and practicing together in this place. It is a nuns' monastery. Furthermore, it holds the status of a nunnery. The oldest among us, Mother, is 99 years old, and she came here when she was very young. With God's almighty help, I truly hope we can fully restore the monastery to its former glory. If you are able to make it and visit us, you will see this entire territory for yourself. It's a corner of heaven.
In 1800, Alexandru's parents, Dimitri and Elena, lived in this house, Donix. And in 1806, here was born the first child in the Doniti family, Alexandru. The Doniti children grew up in this house, and here they also received their first lessons from a private tutor. They also studied a foreign language, French, and learned to play the piano, so their parents did their best to provide them with the best possible education. This church and bell tower, built by Andrei Donici, are very important assets for the national heritage and architecture. I would even say they are of international value because we are visited, not just the house, the museum, the village, by tourists and visitors not only from Moldova, but also from other foreign countries.
I was born and raised, and I have spent my entire life living right here in this wonderful local community for the past 57 years. At the moment, I am currently serving my 4th consecutive term as your mayor, and I am incredibly proud of this locality. It is recognized as one of the oldest localities in the Republic of Moldova, with its first historical documentation dating back to 1436, and it currently comprising 1,600 households. This is a locality situated along the bank of the Rut River. We had a beautiful village surrounded by cliffs and hills. Agriculture predominates here. We have a truly beautiful school, a magnificent church, a modern kindergarten, fully equipped with everything necessary, a dedicated health center office, a vibrant cultural center, and absolutely wonderful people.
We unfold them just like this. So we can make our little fried treat, my dears, and we spin them on the spindle. There was no annual village day, which is traditionally celebrated in October. No gathering and no wedding without the traditional fried pastries. This was the distinctive calling card of our entire village. And that's why we work so hard to preserve the cherished traditions we have, so that our children and our grandchildren will know and appreciate them for many generations to come. When we talk about these traditional fried pastries, everything is done with so much love and perfect harmony. We do this so that our beautiful pastries turn out well for our grandchildren, for all our family members, for our dear friends, and for all the people who visit us. These treats are truly made with deep care and a lot of love. No 2 pastries are alike, even though we follow the same procedure. Just like each one, the little dough balls, everything rises. We knead the same dough, but each pastry turns out different. Each one is different from the other, like flowers in a garden.
Ever since I was a young child, I watched my mother baking fresh bread, just like we bake bread now. Step by step, in that same way, we learned this beautiful and ancient craft that was passed down from our parents. In our family, we don't celebrate any holiday until we've baked fresh bread. Every single time it's a loaf, a dough with... We make homemade loaves, not the kind from the local grocery store, as we say, using fresh yeast. And it keeps longer and is much better for your health.
The pride of our village is that we have the only traditional Bushiom, Alpenhorn craftsman. And we call him Orhei Fihon. By traveling beyond the country's borders to various festivals and exhibitions, he promotes our village both abroad and at home, also by participating in national and international competitions.
I have been a dedicated craftsman for a very long time now. I have been carving wood for about 30 years. I work in a wide variety of different artistic fields. I work in sculpture, I work in relief, I work in many things, and even with a traditional musical instrument, the bushiom. I make it entirely by myself. Yes, I have been making the bushiom since 1988. Since '88, I have been a folk craftsman, right? Since 1987, I have been working with Oana. I've been working with them for a long time, and I've made many bushioms. They haven't really been made in our country since I started making them. We are in the forested area. No one finds it easy or new, especially considering the material. When we make it, we prepare it from scratch. I've even used traditional firewood, the exact kind of dry wood you use for burning in a large fire. I go, I buy, I pick out the ones I like. I have plenty to choose from. And it works out. It works out, you know, just as we imagined it. How should I put it? You see, it's just a piece of wood. And it turns into a creation. I give a bit of life back to that tree, which once grew and lived for years.
My own life to continue, the Kerchi Monastery, which is located within the Orhei National Park. We have a remarkable natural monument here, a majestic and ancient oak tree, which we have officially named in this spot. It is called the Holy Trinity Oak, a name chosen because it also features a very interesting and distinctive style of branching. It starts as a single trunk and ends in three. An oak tree, like this. And here, especially with the children, we can explain to them about the mystery of the Holy Trinity, that there is only one God, yet He exists in three distinct persons, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Here you will find the place where God has beautifully combined what He created with what was made by the hands of people. This magnificent oak tree is estimated to be roughly 500 years old. And we also have the fact that in the surrounding area of Orhei National Park there are about 200 such remarkable centuries-old oaks. The Kerchi Monastery is beautiful. This is because when the monastery complex was being carefully restored, the park located inside the monastery walls was also meticulously taken care of. This project was completed under the guidance of the late academician Alexandru Sibotaru, who, working together with colleagues from the National Botanical Garden, brought to the monastery grounds various plant species, several species of various trees and shrubs that enhance the beauty of this sacred sanctuary.
Says Grigore Sâncedru, Tribușeni Orhei National Park. I have been a folk craftsman since the year 2000. I make folk instruments, traditional musical instruments, panpipes, kaval, bagpipes, and small flutes in all musical keys. This is a part of my life and my daily work. It is done with great dedication and a deep sense of passion. This is exactly where the work on the flute begins. Right here, I have some semi-finished pieces that will later be carefully tuned. I always strive to have quality instruments for everyone. I often think about the many talented musicians who ask me if they're truly ready, and also the schools, especially the high schools across the country that are currently learning to play this unique instrument.
They are indigenous inhabitants from the small village of Romanești. We are all immensely proud of this village because it is located in a stunningly picturesque and scenic region of the national park, Chei. Our primary goal is to meticulously preserve and maintain every single one of the buildings and the rich history of the locality in very good condition.
Today we are standing right here near a significant national historic monument, the beautiful and historic Romanov family manor. It was built at the beginning of the 20th century. It is said that it was built for the Romanov family, but the Romanov family never visited this manor. The estate administrator who managed the property resided right here, where the vineyards and the winery were located, and where the exquisite wine was produced that later ended up on the Tsar's table. Up the hill, there is the modern wine factory built on the foundation of that old winery from the time of the Romanovs. Even today, our wines continue to conquer the palates of many different countries.
The landscapes of Orhei National Park never cease to amaze with their uniqueness and harmony, as if nature itself has woven them from the finest threads. The river and ponds, vibrant with full energy, hold great wealth in their depths. To all who come here with respect, nature reveals its splendor and the whispers of ancient wisdom. It invites you into a world filling your soul with silence and generously sharing its gifts.
The main goals and objectives of our company are to preserve nature in its original state, pristine.
Respecting these treasures is the key to a magical union with nature, where humans and the land find harmony, sharing the joy of life.
Our main difference compared to other companies is that we have a complete production cycle. We start from extracting the roe from the breeders, we raise the larvae, the fry, and finish with the market-ready fish, ready for sale, which reaches the market.
The quadri forests live their unhurried life. Birds call to one another in the treetops, where sunlight filters through their branches, scattering golden patches on the ground. The leaves whisper to each other like old friends, and only time knows what they say. Here, nature generously offers not only the vast greenery of forests and fresh air, but also water crystal clear and rich in minerals.
It is an automated production process. We consistently maintain the highest quality standards and think deeply about the needs and satisfaction of the local population.
Water drawn from an artesian well at a depth of 120 meters journeys out into the world, remaining just as clear and cold as the forest has always known it. Its taste is pure and fresh, like the morning air in the woods. In every bottle, there is an elusive harmony crafted by nature.
This is water that has very high chemical capacities, and it is located within a pristine nature reserve. The probe is reserved in the foreground.
My little child, it was such a wonderful dream. It is a true privilege to work at home in our beautiful lands, surrounded by such superb nature. Today we are standing here in the middle of the cherry, apricot, sour cherry and plum orchard. I especially want to mention that the specific geographical location of this wonderful orchard is right in the heart of the Orhei National Park. We are actually on the outskirts, the small village of Codreanca located in the Strașeni district.
The Valak family has embraced the challenge of time. They have combined ancient wisdom with modern trends, providing that tradition and innovation can go hand in hand.
Initially in the Valak family there are 4 young children. While everyone else moved away and left this place behind, I was the only one who returned here with my wife. Now that we are back, it has truly become like a lingering comma in my heart. And one fine day while we were still living in Greece, I said to my wife, "Come on, Maria, let's finally go back home now, my dear wife, let's go home. Maybe there we can find some good work to do, create beautiful things, and admire them together in our very own home." At this moment, there are approximately 550 tons of fresh plums stored in the cold storage, which we can show you, all of which are destined for international export. We have a contract with, in addition to our partnership with Poland, we have established a formal contract with Croatia. Our high-quality goods are distributed across the local market and the broader European market, including extensive trade routes into Belarus and the Russian Federation.
The Moldovan land is like an ancient tapestry woven by the sun, wind, and time. Every corner holds memories of hard-working people, meadows blooming in spring, and vineyards stretching to the horizon. Here, where the sun gently embraces the hills and rivers, wind through the valleys like silver ribbons, another miracle is born: Moldovan wine.
Wines from the Republic of Moldova have been and continue to be recognized all over the world. The historic Romanești winery was originally established all the way back in 1887. From the earliest records, it is clearly noted that the very first vine cuttings were carefully planted within the area surrounding the traditional Romanești village, starting a long winemaking legacy as early as 1853. This clearly demonstrates to all of us that we possess an incredibly long and rich tradition here.
For centuries, Moldovans have passed down the secrets of winemaking from generation to generation. In the cellars of a Romanești winery, wine matures for years, absorbing the aromas of the land and the passage of time. The cool walls of these winding corridors hold the echoes of ancient songs and stories that have resonated here for decades.
These historic cellars, as you can easily see for yourself, are well over 100 years old and have been meticulously preserved throughout the decades. They are exceptionally high-quality cellars, where the temperature remains perfectly constant and stable, both during the heat of summer and the cold of winter. It truly is an absolutely excellent and ideal temperature for the aging process of our fine wines within these traditional oak barrels.
One can truly taste the essence of Moldovan traditions on this farm. Here, Brânza is not just a product, it is a living embodiment of centuries-old culture. Its flavors unfold like the morning dawn. First, a subtle saltiness, then a rich depth, like the wind sweeping across the fields, and finally, the gentle creaminess of milk, leaving behind a warm memory.
We work with natural rennet. We don't use any kind of chemicals, only salt, water, and that's it. Sheep are fatter compared to goats. Goats produce less milk, but sheep give less milk and are fatter. Sheep's milk doesn't have an odor, the quality of the milk is very good, and the cheese turns out very tasty.
True magic unfolds in a process that begins with the first rays of the sun. The hands of the artisans, as precise as sculptors, carefully craft traditional brânza. There is no room for haste here. Every grain of salt, Every stage of aging follows its own rhythm, like a song carrying the ancient wisdom of the Moldovan land.
Here we can see the glass pipes.
The magic of this place is hidden not only in the sunlight, but also beneath the ground. At a depth of 60 meters lies an underground city with winding galleries and kilometer-long rows of wooden barrels. The unique conditions, high humidity and a stable temperature of 12–14 degrees Celsius, are perfect for strong and aging wines and champagne.
Kumis is a very, you have to be careful with this drink because there's pressure inside. That's why it is filtered, so that it doesn't contain any drugs or microorganisms. That is exactly why 2 more thorough filtrations are needed recently, just before the fresh kumis is poured. Look at how beautifully it moves. We simply can't convey this rich aroma through the screen, but just look at the bubbles, these little fermenting ones that we see in the glasses. For
the Brănești cellars, Sardoniești with our Viorica, madam.
To your health.
This place becomes a temple, where wine, like a wise elder, matures in silence, absorbing aromas that seems to infuse the air with the deepest notes of earth and time.
Just as blood reaches our head and feet through arteries and so on, wine travels through glass pipes.
Here, in the shadows, the wine gains its strength and magic, with each drop carrying an echo of the past, turning every sip into a journey through time. The village of Trebujeni, nestled in the embrace of green valleys, looks like something out of a fairy tale from afar. Towering trees with mighty roots stand majestically, their crowns stretching skyward, unfolding their green palms to the wind. The sun rises over the hills, which, as Ion Druță once wrote, embrace the village like a mother embraces her children. This hidden world, unseen by outsiders, moves to a rhythm known only to the land itself, unhurried, with love and harmony.
As soon as we start meeting with our guests, in order to ensure that they can truly enjoy our company and our presence, our very own presence.
Vasily Ivtodi, or as the locals call him, Moș Vasile, is known by everyone here, from the children kicking a ball along the dusty streets to the travelers who come to experience the true Moldovan culture, traditions, and the spirit of rural life, far from the noise of the cities and the worries of everyday life.
It started off a bit uncertainly. It was quite well received, but actually not in our household. With positive feedback, we keep moving forward. From just 2 modest guest rooms, we've reached a total of 200 guest rooms. It is in high demand. Foreigners come here often, and now we have many people from Moldova who come to spend time in the countryside.
Here, time does not flow like it does in the cities. It seems to be wrapped in a soft veil of centuries, pausing in every breath of wind, in every trembling leaf.
This is the main entrance and the grand gateway to what we call, as we've officially named it, the Stone Age restaurant. Here you will see the incredible reality that has been meticulously created by the raw power of Mother Nature herself.
A majestic cave lies hidden among the vast green landscapes. It seems as if time has forgotten it, allowing the ages to pass by their slow, steady rhythm.
The Stone Age restaurant is located deep within an ancient subterranean mine of, as we were told, solid limestone, dating back approximately 400 years or perhaps even more. There are absolutely no 2 meters alike in this entire unique locality, I would definitely say.
The menu is a true immersion into the Moldovan culture. Spiced meat grilled over an open flame, fragrant placenta, and heaty mamaliga. Here, the return to the roots of Moldovan cuisine, preserving its centuries-old traditions.
Today, I represent the Safari Museum restaurant, an activity of my family which was founded by my father, Mihail Romaniuk. The collection of wax objects where we are today has over 6,000 exhibits, including the large candle. The large candle, the heart of our collection, is that candle made here starting on February 21st, 2012. It is the largest handmade candle by dripping in Europe. In it, we have melted candles from 163 countries and all possible religions from those countries. It weighs 270 kilograms and is 2.12 meters tall. We also have some quite old candles which are over 200 years old. Candles crafted by skilled artisans from Germany, such as the Gunther family or the Miller family. This collection also has a purpose. At one point, we also wanted to become holders ourselves, a Guinness record for the quantity of candles we have, or our idea of a unique place.
Orhei National Park has a truly remarkable and enormous potential in terms of attracting tourists and visitors. Specifically, I mean that within the park's territory, we have historic monasteries, traditional houses, museums, archaeological sites, scenic tourist trails, and we have very eager and incredibly friendly people. And they are ready to welcome guests in every locality within the park's area. At the moment, we, the ones from the park, have determined that we can organize and create tourist routes. These come in several types. We can create circular routes, we can create linear routes, and we can make routes that pass through places that are very interesting from a historical point of view.
But don't think that just because the beauty is here today in the village, as we did before, there was a very dense forest here. Everyone would clear a small plot of land to build a little house. Now there are big houses, but back then they would make a simple hut, a small, poor little house, just to survive and live together in peace.
The villages of Moldova, like ancient cradles, have a national soul, preserve warmth and simplicity. Grigore Viero once wrote, "The village is where life begins with the scent of bread and ends with the whisper of an old oak tree." This image comes to life along the winding streets, where the courtyard of a guest house is filled with the aroma of grapevines and blooming gardens. Orhei National Park, with its magnificent landscape, rich biodiversity, and archaeological treasures, is a true gem of Moldova. Here, at the crossroads of antiquity and modernity, every corner is filled with history, natural beauty, and an invisible force that keeps this land alive and unique. As the Moldovan writer Grigore Miniuc once said, history is the root of our national tree. Without it, there is neither strength nor future. And perhaps right here in Orhei National Park, true magic begins, where traditions, love for the homeland, and modern perspectives intertwine to create something truly extraordinary. For everyone who sets foot on its land, it will not just be a journey, it will be a chance to understand that true beauty lies in simplicity, in honesty, in people, and in their devotion to the land. în oameni și în munca lor.
Curge între strânsă băi, să trece pe la Orhei, curge între strânsă băi, să trece pe la Orhei, între două stânze chiatră, curge o apă, curge la vale, între două stânze chiatră, curge o apă, curge la vale, curge apa în șetișor, să trece pe-ntre bujări, măi, curge apa în șetișor, să trece pe-ntre bujări, măi,